to extract 250 grand worth of profit. If you have no advice, believe it or not, it's about 177 grand in tax. Yeah, 177. That video shows you how to get it down to 4.4k legitimate. Because I'm sure if I did nothing right, our friends HMRC will be on our case.
This is Zee Razaq.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that intro. I don't think I could have done it better myself. So, thanks to the host for introducing us. Also, got to give a big applause to Phil, Dr. Phil now apparently, and a birthday boy tomorrow apparently. So, thank you so much for putting the awards together and helping us present and hopefully help the entrepreneurs on their journey. Slide, please. So, a bit about us, the background, there's a bit of an agenda, the things that we're going to cover. It's quite loud, so I'll keep it down here. The background of mine. Next slide, please. So I've been involved in accountancy, tax, finance, business for about 20 odd years, worked for some of the big organizations. One of the biggest was Santander. I used to manage a cost base of about 2.5 billion. I only saved them 100 million quid over 5 years, so hopefully they appreciate that. So it's understanding business. Actually, the second part needs to be updated. The accountancy practice has been running for almost 9 to 10 years now, and we've helped a lot of entrepreneurs on their journey. Is that okay? Everyone not feeling too much of an echo on this? Is that okay? Perfect. So one of the highlights, next slide, is, as the host mentioned, featured on Sky TV, talking about property tax, accounting, financial independence, which is the big buzzword, but that's the whole point why we're entrepreneurs, right? So that's a bit of a slide with me on there, with another well-known entrepreneur. I don't know if you heard of him, John Howard, and we're talking business and property. Next slide. So the key thing for us is, how do we help entrepreneurs? The pain points. This is what are the common pain points from when we're dealing. The first one, you'll be like, really? 70 to 90%. Every pound you earn, how hard it is to earn that pound, that's how much you're losing in taxes over your lifetime, which is massive. The second pain point is not having a plan to be financially independent. If you don't plan, funny enough, it doesn't happen. And that's why it's so important. The other bit is people lose motivation. And that is probably the number one killer as an entrepreneur, is you start on a journey. If you're not motivated and you don't see the end point, it's not going to happen. The next bit is, as someone mentioned earlier, I think it was a gentleman just before me, family legacy is massive. And especially if you invest in UK property, you must develop a family legacy, because if you don't, you're going to lose 40% with the dreaded inheritance tax upon when you leave the planet to your beneficiaries, normally your family. The last bit is not having an exit strategy. And this has become a big area, especially as a lot of people are moving to Dubai these days. And we're helping entrepreneurs who want to have that worldwide view. Next slide. So one of the things that we've developed is, and we've realized that entrepreneurs that are successful have what we call a 10-year roadmap session. So we cover 3 pillars. Without getting into loads of it, normally an entrepreneur who's successful generally has to be able to generate cash flow. And that comes from a trading business normally, and it's how do you maximize that to support your income, your lifestyle, and then your investment strategy. The second part is something called a SAS pension. I don't know, has anyone heard of SAS pensions? Small self-administered scheme. They are one of the best tools. If you're not sure, I've done an episode on Sky TV. It's on our YouTube channel. We've got free resources, probably 1,000 videos on there. So help yourself, have a look at those, because knowledge is power. And if you don't invest in knowledge, all of this falls down. And the third bit is investing in property. Whatever anyone says, including our esteemed Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and all the rest of them, property is still the best investment for me in the United Kingdom to get financial independence. Because what it does is, unlike any other asset, it does you 3 key things. 1, it gives you cash flow, the rent. Number 2, it gives you capital appreciation. And number 3, it's tangible. You can see it, feel it, unlike some other assets. So for me, that is a massive part. And then you can diversify with other assets like gold, for example, and some people do crypto and a few other aspects. Next slide. So I was doing a case study of some of the people that we've helped and what they've achieved. Because if you can't actually visualize it and actually see what people have actually achieved, it feels like it's a dream. It's not a dream, it's a reality if you put it down on paper and get a plan. So I was just giving an example of, we did this in 5 stages with these, with C&J, that's the letters of their name. And one of the things they're running a hospitality business. And they wanted to become financially independent. The first thing we had to do is max the cash from that business. So you have to understand how trading businesses work. Does everyone understand what I mean by trading businesses? So for example, an accountancy tax advisory practice is a trading business. A hospitality is a trading business. Believe it or not, property development is a trading business because you sell property once you've developed it. It's so important to max the cash because that's how you get to be financially independent. But if you don't use the money properly, and there's a video you can see on YouTube how to extract 250 grand worth of profit. If you have no advice, believe it or not, it's about 177 grand in tax. Yeah, 177. That video shows you how to get it down to 4.4K legitimate. Because I'm sure if I did nothing right, our friends HMRC will be on our case. So you have to understand what planning is and getting the right advice from the right people. So with C&J, what we did was, we did that within 3 years, and they ended up then being able to do the second stage and put some money from their company into the SAS pension. And because they're husband and wife, that was about 120K. What it actually did is actually saved them 50% in tax. Who thinks it's better to have 120K or 60K in their pocket? But a lot of people don't think about these things because they don't understand or haven't got the right team behind them. So this is so key. The third stage was we used something called an LLP, a limited liability partnership. Do people know what I mean by an LLP? Okay. The reason why is, without getting into the technical talk, it's something called tax transparent. And what it does is if you buy commercial property, it's got certain write-offs that other assets don't have. So you can actually earn tax-free income. They bought £1 million commercial property to run their business, and they got £300,000 tax-free, legitimate. You can actually earn up to £1 million per year in the United Kingdom, as I speak in 2025, if you understand how property works. Tax-free, no tax, any tax. The next bit they did was, on that journey, you've got to reward yourself and motivate yourself. So I've done some videos with, if you see on YouTube, with the old Lamborghinis, because people have different things that motivate them. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are worked hard, rewarding yourself on the journey keeps you motivated. So in this case, they really wanted a Lamborghini. So we did it obviously tax efficiently. The second thing was they got children. And believe it or not, if you do it smartly, the business can actually end up paying for the school fees in a certain way if structured correctly. So this was all done tax efficiently. So now we're working pre-tax, not post-tax. When you act as an employee, for example, what's happening is you're having everything post-tax, and you just get used to it because they take the money before you even get it. There is ways to minimize that as well, but this is the biggest problem because people do not invest time in education or get the right people to support them. The next bit was the fifth stage, which they actually are looking to go to a warmer climate, and it requires some planning. And one of the areas that we do suggest to people, if UK is not their longer term location to live, is Dubai. And the reason why we suggest places like Dubai is it's got 0% income tax, 0% capital gains tax, 0% inheritance tax. And if you plan it correctly, you can actually benefit in a number of different ways from that. And also, when you build that pension pot, you can actually right now, if you meet the criteria, take it out tax-free, 0. So that $1.5 million that you saved money on the way in, you can pull it out tax-free as well. Next slide, please. So that was me with a bit of a blurb about why you need to have, hopefully, a good professional team. So we've got an offer. We do a roadmap session for clients. It's about 1,500 quid. If you do sign up, there's a special offer. We always love helping Phil's network and people at this event. You can get access to the Business Growth Club, 3 months, which is worth 300 quid if you sign up using that code ahead of 2nd of May. Also, you've got my LinkedIn. We've got quite a big following on LinkedIn and other socials. So there's the QR code, so please take a pic of that. Also, Zee Razaq on YouTube. Always invest time on learning and getting knowledge. I think I'm on point there. Thank you. And I think Phil's got some questions he's going to ask me.
So I'm going to ask you, I've been to your office a couple of times. Well, as I said to you before, in this room, we have incredible people in this room, and I'm going to encourage you, please, get to meet these people and connect with them. Okay? So what 3 key points or advice would you have for entrepreneurs in terms of accounting and saving?
Great question. I think first of all, you've got to get clarity on what you want to achieve, right? Get advice, your property strategy, business strategy, get that understanding clarity. That's number 1.
Yes.
Number 2, really important, do a roadmap. Because if you don't do a roadmap, what are you assessing whether you're successful or not? And get someone who actually understands how to do that and get the detail and have milestones, because that will help you achieve it. And number 3, a big one, let's not just talk about it, take action. Because the biggest problem is you go and speak to someone else who's got a different mindset and people don't take action, and what happens? Funny enough, it doesn't take place. You just wasted loads of time and money. That's for the 3 tips.
So I love the fact that you mentioned the 3 tips. But for me, out of these 3, the main important one for me is the last one. Because as directors, as business owners, you can attend networking, you can have the best mentor, trainers, coach. But if you don't actually take action, I think the main thing is taking action. So I want you to advise the directors in the room, the business owners in the room, the effect of not taking action. How will that eat the pocket, and how will that affect their tax? And how, I'm sure you know that government will be after you if you don't take action.
So I'll give you an example. If you're investing in property, unlike what we call trading business, and our good old Rachel Reeves, I'm saying her name nicely, has changed the rules going forward. But currently, if you've got business, you don't have trading business, you don't have to worry about inheritance tax. But when you invest in property, you do. So the biggest thing people have is they don't get the business structured correctly, number 1. And number 2, they don't put a plan in. And one of the things that you should do is, I don't know if people have heard, something called a family investment company. If you do not put a family investment company in place, your legacy will end with you or stroke your wife or your partner. And that's one of the biggest aspects of not taking action and actually investing in your future.
Well, do we get that? Or do I want him to repeat? Because I want us to leave this room today, or leave the awards room today, knowing that we are going to take action when it comes to tax. You always get those letters. And how many people do this? You get the letters. You know you're meant to open the letters, but you don't open those letters. Let me see your hands up. Or you're shy. Let me see. So after today, when you get those letters, you're going to open those letters. Now, talking on the inheritance tax, there was an article, not even an article, there was something in the news this week. A family actually lost over 300,000 to inheritance tax. What can we do when it comes to that? What can we do as a business owner, as a property person?
I had a client turn up who inherited from their parents, who had done really well to reduce their debt. They inherited a £40 million estate. Do you know how much they got stung on? No planning. £16 million of inheritance tax.
How much?
16 million. And the reason why it was so big was that's the value of the assets. And they had to pay that within 6 months or they wouldn't get the assets. So they had to take loan debt at high rates to get the assets to be put in their name. So by not taking action, they could have put a family investment company, or their parents could have, and put a policy in to pay whatever inheritance tax, if they learnt about it later, in place. And they could have arguably paid zero. So it's this kind of planning, because a lot of people don't understand. It's not just having an accountant tax in this case. You also need a legal aspects as well, a lawyer. You also need a good commercial broker, because when you take financing, it has special rules within it. So you need to review it before you do structural changes. So this is the difference between what we call a heart specialist in the accountancy tax world, or you just jocking up to an average Joe general accountant who is a general practitioner. You wouldn't expect your doctor, if you went to him and they were a GP, to start operating on your heart, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You'd be a bit worried. You would say, give me the specialist. Why is accountancy, tax, or finance any different?
I love that. Well, I'm going to just talk about that. Speaking to a specialist, because you oftentimes you as a business owner, you think you read things on the internet. This is quite incredible, because you read things on the internet and you think you know how to do it. You speak with an accountant like Razaq, Mr. Razaq, and you think, he's going to charge me $2,000, $3,000. I can do that myself. And then you try to do that yourself, and then the tax man is after you. So what would you say to people, to directors who are kind of like to do things themselves, as to speaking to specialists?
I think one of the hosts was saying about ChatGPT, great to get a little bit of knowledge, but it's not right, because doesn't understand your situation, or neither does Google. And unfortunately, Google and ChatGPT don't turn up when HMRC turn up to investigate you, and they're like, that's when you need, and it's not even, you do need a specialist to do these things, because property, unlike certain other industries, is quite complex, and it's different to different people's scenarios. So you do need that advice. And one tip I would say to people is get something called tax investigation insurance. Your accountant tax advisor will provide that. Best thing ever, provided you everything. You don't ever speak to HMRC. I know I've got some people here who have interactions with HMRC, because they are there to provide a service to the government, the Treasury, not yourself. So your job is to make sure you get the right person defending yourself. It's like going to get pulled over by the police, and the police ask you questions. You get a lawyer, don't you? You don't start talking to them because you don't know what the implications are. But HMRC have more power than the police, but yet everyone thinks they're their best friend.
I love that. I think oftentimes you don't see the HMRC as, you think, well, I can deal with it, isn't it? But you know you can't deal with it now.
Yeah, I think simple thing was, I know they changed the rules recently, and hopefully this puts it in context. So if I have learning and development in my business, until they changed the rules previously, if I learned something new, it actually wasn't tax deductible. So if HMRC phone you up, contact you, and they do, and they say, oh, so you've done training, you spent all this money, oh, was it something new? And you say, yeah, they got you. That's how it used to be. And so but if you said it was refreshing existing skills, it is tax deductible. And people will be like, what is he going on about? But it's simple things like this that you need professional advice from people who actually know the area really well. And that's the key. Always get a good team in place, because that will save you money and accelerate your learning.
Okay, so that will save you money.
And make you money as well.
And make you money. Isn't that great that taking steps, taking action can actually save you money?
I think the people, if you save money, it's only valuable if you invest it wisely and you actually make a return on it. So I'll go back to the Lamborghini. A few people have seen the videos of the old Lamborghini, and they're like, oh, how do I get one? You need to get the business to cash flow to be able to pay for these things and structure them correctly. So therefore, you don't lose out, because as soon as you pay from your own pocket things, you're actually reducing your wealth, reducing your future earnings potential. So don't pick up liabilities in life, pick up assets, that are going to actually pay their way and get you to what we call financial independence, out of the rat race, as they say.
Thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate that. So, if you need Zee advice, please feel free to connect with him. I've been to his office a couple of times. He's very knowledgeable, and I'm actually going to recommend him to speak to. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And a big applause to Phil for having this event again, because he's done a big job here. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you. So I'm going to hand you over to the MC for today.